Hi, I'm Margie.
And I'm Barb. And together we are the
Real Marketing Mavens. And today we are kicking off our Women with Wings series, where we're celebrating women leaders, business owners, and entrepreneurs in this podcast series where we will listen to stories, share challenges, and learn about their unique qualities of these beautiful women.
Yeah. And today I'm proud to a friend that I've had for years and years, Jackie Parker, who we met a long time ago through the Chamber of Commerce. And then we helped become the Mayor of Lebnoan. And then she went on to work with the Department of Commerce for the state of Pennsylvania.
Wowzy.
And yeah, she has quite a pedigree. And now she does GR, which she said, what's GR? And it's government relations. So
wow. That's
she always looked at me and she goes, what's GR? I said, it's what you do.
Yeah. Is that what they call it?
That's what it is. It's government relations. It's GR. So here is Jackie Parker.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning to
Good morning.
you. And Jackie, tell us, how did you land where you're at? Like, what brought you to here?
It's a circuitous route. I'm a girl from the 60s, and back in those days it was actually I have to give my parents credit because they raised me to say you can do whatever you want. So college, really I'm a biology major. My degree's in biology.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, and I
know she still has her college card.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do. My college ID on me. Anyway, so I don't ask me why. Anyway, so I think going to college, learning about the world, and doing different, being exposed to different things. But I really enjoyed being a biology major, thinking I would go down a path for medicine or research or something like that.
Wow.
Got married and then went out in the business world, became an assistant or a secretary, a clerical person, and learned a little bit more then again about the business world, which I did really enjoy. But I think what actually brought me to this space now is my children. And so when I moved to Lebanon, my oldest one was going to kindergarten, and I became very involved with the school district. They would probably say I was a pain in the butt, and I was, learning about education, learning about how the systems worked, being a young mother and not really knowing the ins and outs and the processes of a school district and education. So I ran for school board, and so that was really what brought me to being in public service. I think with being an advocate for the kids, being an advocate for education, especially public education, which I believe in. Then after that, I decided to run for mayor. Again, because of the community and things that I saw in Lebanon. We're a 25,000 population in Lebanon, so not very big, but yet having the same urban issues as many of our larger sister cities like Lancaster, York, Reading. And so that really brought me to public service.
Wow.
Awesome.
I learned something. I didn't realize you were in school board and all that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't
For
either.
5 years.
Okay.
So there was good groundwork training there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, learning how to deal with the public. That
That
was
would be.
taxpayers.
Yes, taxpayers. And you being school board, that's a very powerful, because it's the only board you're on that actually can raise taxes.
Yes, and you're right, and of course
I know I'm right.
Yes, you're right, and of course too, it's unpaid.
And it's unpaid.
It's unpaid.
It's unpaid, but
At
you
least in the-
control
yes.
the tax
Yes,
rules.
and so it's a very powerful and as you said, powerful, but also rewarding. I found it very rewarding.
Good. Wow. That's
Oh,
awesome.
that's cool.
Things I didn't know.
There you go.
So did you have I know I can think of maybe 3 or 4 times in my life where I had real aha moments where I was going one way and then something happened and I started going another way altogether.
Well, it really had to be the kids. My oldest son being in kindergarten and learning about the school district, and so here I am in a business world, having a well, actually I had 2 kids by that time, and realizing, okay, they're going to the neighborhood school, I need to know more about it. Joined the PTA, did all those things, and made cookies and did all that kind of stuff. Attended the meetings and the little events that they had. But then you really, the aha moment was, wow, all the kids deserve this, that, or the other thing, whether it was the playground structure or whether it was new books or whether it was a curriculum change. And so that's the aha moment for me was, hey, somebody should be bringing this to somebody's attention. Somebody should, be talking about this. We should have a discussion about this. And so being in the business world, you're in a corporate situation, a business situation, and you report to, different people. And yes, you have some responsibilities and you're contributing, but I think in public service, being especially in education, that was my aha moment, really.
Wow. Awesome. So it's interesting to hear your story about how you were a child of the 60s. It's a very different time. And so as you've gone through, what challenges have you seen as a woman that you faced, maybe overcome? How did you overcome them?
Yeah, I know I've thought about this several occasions. People have asked me this over my, career about being a woman in actually a pretty male-dominated field, especially when I was mayor, and then working for Governor Rendell. His office, actually, he was great about hiring women who were smart and focused and accomplished, and I did really appreciate that. But becoming mayor, even on school board, it was a diverse board. But then coming into being a mayor, and I joined several networks of mayors, and I realized it was male dominated. I was like, wow, where are the women? And I
made the bathroom trip easier.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But and I thought about this question, and I've been thinking about it, and it's really interesting. I didn't meet many women who could mentor me. And I have to give a shout out to the men that I met along the way, because they really helped me. I mean, I couldn't learn from anybody else except the guys that were around me, and they were very accepting, I have to say. They taught me a lot. Now, what was happening behind my back, I don't really know, but, I can say, that they always treated me with respect, always respected my opinions. I worked my way through the Pennsylvania League of Cities for a little bit, and served on committees, and, there really wasn't any, that I noted anyway, any bias when I brought an issue to their attention. Yep, let's discuss it. Or if they had an issue, yep, what do you think about this? And again, working with Governor Rendell, it was a great experience, and there weren't, women that really could mentor me, but the men, we worked together, so the women all worked together with the men, and I didn't really give it a thought. Sorry about that.
No, that's great. That's very.
It really wasn't like, okay, and and again, being a woman from the 60s, and then going into the feminism kind of feeling, I really have to attribute it to my mom and dad, because there really wasn't any, we never really discussed gender in any kind of situation. It was, you go fishing, you're going hiking, we're studying, my dad was an engineer. Oh, let me show you my slide rule, which was god awful. You should know how to use a slide rule. I'm like, okay.
My dad did the same thing. There was no question. You're going to college. This is what you're going to do.
That's fabulous. Yeah. My goodness.
But I still don't know how to use a slide.
No, I don't either. I just kind of nodded politely. Yeah, okay.
I think I have it.
Yeah.
So as you've been in government and stuff, have you seen an increase in women mentoring other women? Has it been changing, do you think?
I do think so, and I do meet many more, and I was just thinking about this being at the Capitol the other day, how many more women staffers there are now for legislators, and there weren't that many before. Those who are directing committee chairs, and they're directing those offices. They're being legislative, staff leaders in those offices. Still a little bit of, I would say male dominated, but so many more young women, and I really admire that. They're again, ambitious, upwardly mobile. They're smart.
Fearless.
They're fearless.
So much more fearless than what I remember being.
And yes, I think you're right. That that kind of, hey, I'm here. I have something to say. I have something to contribute, and they're. It's very interesting and exciting, I think, to see that. And I've met a few, and you know, when we talk about mentoring, I don't know if I have a lot to share to mentor, because it's a different time and it's a different legislature, and I don't really even know many of the legislators anymore. You know, I know some of them, but the younger legislators coming up are bringing in younger staff, and so, you know, I can share, you know, what happened, you know, and how we did things. But there's goodness gracious, just technology, social media, you know, and we talk about that. When I ran for mayor, we had no social media.
No, we didn't.
No.
It was
Remember?
basic traditional media.
I can remember you and then my kids saying, "But you have to get a Facebook page, you know, a website, a website, not a Facebook page." And I said, "A website? Oh, okay."
We went into panic mode.
Yeah, I was like, "What is that?" Yeah.
Well, then it went from there. It just exploded.
Yeah.
It was websites, and then it was social media, and just
then the Facebook, and then Twitter and
Twitter, Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and now podcasts.
Yes,
Now
podcasts.
you can say you've done podcasts
I know,
too.
I'm so excited.
She's reached her pinnacle.
With us, oh, the poor thing.
No, the one thing for her working in the state capitol, I mean, when you go, we have, in my opinion, the prettiest state capitol in the USA. But when you look around at all the murals and know that it was a woman who painted all those murals who couldn't even vote at the time.
Yep.
Wow, that is an interesting
piece of history.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now, look, here she is doing GR
Yes.
and influencing, being an influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that
many
is
women
really-
have paved the way, right?
Yes, they have.
Really have.
Women with wings.
Yep.
Yes.
Aw.
Yeah.
So, Jackie, how do you think women are unique as leaders? What do they bring to the table that is unique?
I think that most women that I've dealt with are certainly thoughtful about an issue. You know, so you have these issues, and I wouldn't always say it's gender-based, but that's what I've found. I mean, men are thoughtful too about issues, but you know, sometimes in a group, a woman has a a more thoughtful approach, and also different perspectives, can bring a different perspective to it, from whatever background she has. So it might be, community development, and then she'll say, you know, she might bring a different aspect because she's been mom, maybe because she lives in a neighborhood a little more sensitive, I think, to some of those issues
I would think
that are more
Compassionate,
community based.
yeah.
And you know, I think too, and I've talked to a couple. I wouldn't say mentoring, but talked to young women who are now out there in somewhat of a male-oriented field. That, you know, I think when you're in a group of men, what you bring is your gender. You're the only woman there, and you're smart, and every bit as smart as the men, but you're a woman, so you have many more of those aspects and sensitivity things to bring to the table. And I want women to remember that, you know, to think about that.
That they have their own gifts.
That's their gift.
That they can share with whatever. I mean, I have a lot of clients in the construction industry, and there are not very many women in the construction industry. And watching them grow is phenomenal.
I bet that's an interesting field.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
to navigate, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, did you have any?
Do I have any more questions?
Do you have any more questions? Do you have any final thoughts you want to share?
Any
tips?
Any tips or any what's a good word?
Sage advice.
Sage advice for a woman who wants to either start her own business or get into a business.
Or even politics.
Or
No, I
politics.
think getting into politics is so important, and I have tried to impart that to men and women. That public service is really so important, especially in today's world. That there are things that are worth fighting for. There are things that are worth standing up for, and going that political route or the community activism route. You know, being an activist is important now. You know, I do think that being part of a group is probably more helpful than just doing it yourself. Yes, you should be a voice. Absolutely, go and complain and whine and knock on doors. Okay, yes, but
Grassroots.
but if you do a grassroots group, there really are strength in numbers. But I see that more and more women are adding to that. part of our structures that women are forming, those grassroots committee. But to get even young people to understand how our government process works is difficult. I think I find it less and less that young people want to be involved in how you write a bill. What actually goes on up in the state capitol. How does that work?
Why is that, do you think?
I don't think it's taught.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
It's not taught.
They don't teach civics anymore?
Not.
Jake never had it.
Oh, okay.
No.
I mean, it turned into more of an elective thing, I think, and then it just kind of
Faded away.
fades away.
Of course, I'm of the age where it was Mr. Bill and
Yeah,
automobile.
yeah, I know, and that ditty still runs through my head sometimes. But
Yeah, they don't. I don't know. They don't teach it at Lebanon. When my kids went to school, they did have a youth and government program. I know there's one in Palmyra, and there's one in Palmyra. There's one. I don't know if Cedar Crest has one, but it's a statewide program, and they do. It's kind of an extra club, but you do learn how to write bills. And I found that the kids found that very interesting. And you debate. You get up there and you debate bills, and you run for chair, and you run for governor, and you do. It is a youth in government kind of a model. So that's something that you can do. But I do try to tell people that I even tell my kids, hey, if there's a park that needs to be refurbished, or somebody's racing down the street and you need a stop sign, you got you have to speak up for those things. You have to go and say, we need a stop sign, we need a park, we need whatever we need, and you need to stand up for those things. So, and that's how you get involved.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for
Yes,
being here
thank
today.
you.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think we had a great discussion on women in the political field, and as she said, get active.
Get involved.
Get
And
involved.
you can be a business owner and do the same thing. You have to watch what bills are being passed, and there's plenty of information out there, websites and such, that you can go online and see what's happening.
And you have to advocate for your business, advocate for what you stand for in your business world, and how those pieces of legislation affect your everyday life.
Yes.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
we didn't mention this, but a lot of political people, the senators and representatives, they want to hear from people, don't they? They want to hear what
for the most part.
what concerns are, or how they can help with things.
I have one that said, "Oh no, not Barb again."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. That is absolutely what you need to be.
Yeah.
Is vocal and a pain in the butt.
That's what we're advocating.
That's what we're advocating. So,
Thank you, Jackie Parker, for joining the Real Women.
Yeah, we are the Real Marketing Mavens.
Real Women,
Real stories.
real results.
See you next time.